Amina.
And we are live.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh no.
How are you doing today? Alhamdulillah for another beautiful day, another beautiful afternoon. I welcome to another episode of Muslimah Open Talk. I welcome everyone. My guest today, someone that should be on this other side of the seat. I'm sure she's not used to this. She should be interviewing me because she's
Wow.
somebody I would call mind your grammar. If you're around her, somebody that will just set you straight if you're trying to misbehave. Uh, Sister Salmah Adetutu Lawal. She wears multiple hats. She plays multiple roles, and I'll just give you a brief background. She's an educationist. She is a broadcaster. She's an author. She's a public speaker, and I can go on and on. You see what I mean? she's what you call fully loaded. So Alhamdulillah, I'm privileged to have her on the show today. And I'm also thanking her so much for rising up so early for me. I know usually she would have started her routine, but I had to grab her this morning. I grabbed her. It's 5 o'clock SA time, 4 o'clock Nigerian time. But on the other side, I think it's 7 o'clock now. Am I right? Is it just past seven
No,
at
it's
on
10.
that side?
No, it's
Is it?
10 a.m.
Oh, it's 10 a.m. All the same,
Mm.
I had to grab her. So I'm truly privileged and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Jazakallah khairan. I appreciate you honoring this invitation and making this time. I welcome you
Alhamdulillah.
to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Mashallah. So I know I did a brief intro, but I would really like you to give me a background by yourself.
Okay.
Well,
My name is Salmah Adetutu Lawal, like you have said already. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children. I
Mashallah.
am in my early 40s. I'm 41. I started my career with the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, in 2001. I served there and I was retained. And need I mention here that out of 15 of us that served with the NTA that year, I was the only one that was retained. And every time I think about it, one thing comes to my
Mashallah.
mind.
Hmm.
And you know what comes to my mind when I think about it? A lot of us are in school. We're in school to read and acquire knowledge, but we don't know how to apply the knowledge. So I think that there are job opportunities, but there are no employable graduates. And when I say employable, I'm sorry if
Hmm.
anyone feels offended, but I've interviewed people too, and I can see I've interviewed a first-class graduate before who could not
Wow.
express himself. There is no job
Unbelievable.
that would take you if you do not
Hmm.
know how to tell us what you have learned. There's primacy of spoken over written.
Hmm.
Before we know that you're
Hmm.
first class graduate, you have to sell yourself. And so one of the things that every time I think back and I look at that time, like what did I have that every other core member didn't have? It was probably my ability to express myself until I had to go to before the service here ended. I went to the executive director admin and I said, okay, I'm a core member here and I'm finishing in the next 2 months and I want to be employed here. I want to work here. And the woman said,
Wow.
so you had the guts to come to my office? This is somebody
Wow.
whose office has like
such
3 secretaries. And she was
wow.
like,
Such confidence.
yes. I said, yes, so that I wouldn't have to come back after the passing, that
Hmm.
I won't have to come back and still lobbying. And if I know that I have an opportunity to stay here, I'll come back. If not,
Hmm.
I'll just go
Hmm.
so I can look for others. And the woman said, we will take you. And nobody knew that I had to do that. So, and
Wow.
before you can go into
Wow.
a place like the
Wow.
NTA, you have to, get the civil service form, do this. I didn't do any of that. So sometimes, again, of course, grace. And then
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
to like exhibit what God has installed in you.
Hmm.
I'm an advocate of maximizing purpose. There's a reason you were created. A lot of people
Mashallah.
die without realizing that purpose. And so I'm an advocate of let that thing come out. The worst you get is no. Why don't you just say it? So I advocate that. I worked with the NTA for 16 years before voluntarily retiring. to private
Mashallah.
business in 2018, and I started my own business. Alhamdulillah, I'm here today. I just relocated to the US, and so I say very strongly that wherever we go to as Nigerians, that country made us. That is where we're coming from. We shouldn't forget it, but
True.
at the same
True.
time, we should find a way of making sure that now I'm not just a Muslim. I'm not just a Nigerian. I'm a Muslim. So everywhere
Mashallah.
I go, I try to sell Islam. I try to sell Nigeria. I try to, as much as
Mashallah.
possible, exude the good qualities that people expect of
Mashallah.
a true
Mashallah.
Nigerian and a true Muslim. Alhamdulillah. So,
Alhamdulillah. Mashallah. Mashallah. Tabarakallah fiq.
alhamdulillah.
I'm a huge
Ameen.
fan. You already know. If there's anything like a groupie, you know I'm on that list. Me, I'm your groupie.
I
And
know.
sister,
We are in it together. We're rocking the same boat.
mashallah. And sister Islamia, saying Assalamu alaikum, mashallah. And you also have a fan there, sister
Assalamu alaikum.
Ajara Triumbo. Yeah, so she said she's always
Assalamu
admired you.
alaikum.
I know. We are many, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum, my sisters. Assalamu
You know,
alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, I know that you make us proud. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I wish I had the privilege to have met you before I left the country. And I hope that someday, inshallah, we
We
get to
will,
know.
Miss Inshallah.
Inshallah,
Sister
be good
Islamia is
luck to.
working towards it. She's working towards bringing all of us together.
Oh,
I know.
fantastic.
She didn't tell
Fantastic.
me, but I know in her heart.
You know, that would be quite a reunion, honestly. Inshallah, I look forward to it.
About
Mashallah. So, yeah, Jazakallah. So it's actually, so I was going to ask you about how you got employed in NTA, and I must tell you that that was really courage and boldness and confidence, which, like you rightly said, a lot of people don't have. It's a different thing to say that you got the education, but has it transformed you? What value has being educated added to your life? And it's unfortunate that these days, someone can walk up to you and tell you and brag about being a degree holder from a university, and they can't even express themselves, like you rightly said.
okay.
And imagine if you didn't have that confidence because you were sure, you were certain, you knew that you had the qualification, and you gave it a go. Imagine even if you had to come back, going through all that process. And alhamdulillah, mashallah, I hope that anybody who is watching now has picked that from what I've just told us. That's a life lesson there for even the
It's
younger
important.
generations. Those are very, very important. Mashallah. So I would like to ask about your business, because I know that you have a business before you even left the shores of Nigeria. I knew that you had a boutique. And what brought about that idea? Did you think of the business before you left NTA, or you've always had you've always had at the back of your mind that someday when I eventually retire from NTA, I would like to own my own business? And was that exactly what you wanted to do?
Okay. All right. That's a good question, Sometimes in life, I tell people just start. Just start whatever it is. As you're going along the way, ideas will pop up, and then you'll be able to, get the picture correctly. But my line is usually, if you cannot feature in a future whose picture you have not captured.
Yeah, no problem.
You have to, yes, you have to have captured it. Anyway, when I started with the NTA, I knew that I wasn't good. I'm not an advocate of salary. So I knew, in fact, when I got in, I met one secretary, Auntie Labake, that's her name. And she said she had spent 15 years at that time. And I said, Auntie Labake, you spent 15 years in NTA and you don't have a car and you don't have a house?
And when you just started? You mean when you just started?
When I just started, rookie. Yeah. I was like,
wow.
before I spent 2 years, I'll have 3 cars, I'll have a house. The woman said, okay, don't worry, I'll ask you. So after 5 years, the woman said, Salmah, please, I can't see your car because I still didn't have a car. I said, it's not easy. So anyway, when I started, I knew that I wasn't going to stay for so long because I like my time freedom. I used to read a lot before I even got started working. So I knew that it won't salary is just to live from hand to, like, just to live, you know. It's not something that can make me rich the way I wanted to be, like financially free. So, but I didn't know how to go about it. So when I started the job, I think immediately I started working with NTA. You know, I'll still put some people together, train them. I had that one in me from the beginning, training people, and I would do it for free. I just enjoy it, you know. So when on my 10th anniversary, like, I wanted to leave at that time, but one of my mentors asked me some questions like, what do you have? What have you put together? And at that time, I was going through some tough times in my marriage. So I just had to still stay for some time, because you really need to cushion yourself. Yes, it's not easy. I'm not an advocate of a plan B. I believe putting in your efforts very much in your plan A. There's nothing like it won't work. If you know there's nothing to go back to, it will work. Okay, that's my own belief. Yes, it may not work, but I understand that there's no hard and fast rule to life. Some things would work for A and not work for B. Okay, and so I knew that I was going to have Mubaimina. That's the name of the Islamic lifestyle school. On I think Mubaimina, yeah, my children's names I coined together. So yes, Mubarak, Aisha, and Amina. So Aisha and Amina, yeah. So I started Mubaimina when I got to NTA Ibadan. I was transferred to NTA Ibadan in 2013. And so when I got to NTA Ibadan, I saw there were like 20 Christian programs, no Islamic program. And I was like, why? They said, well, Muslims don't like to sponsor programs and all of that. So I said, okay, I am a producer. That's what's written on my letter, but I'm going to become a marketer, because I'm going to have to look for a sponsor for an Islamic program at least. And so, and I started looking for sponsors. I started, getting Muslims. I started from getting contacts and all of that, until I got one person that wanted to sponsor. So I started a program called Islam is Beautiful. And when I started the program, I realized that because I'm always on TV every week, I don't want to wear the same dress I was wearing last week. I don't want to wear the same hijab. And so I had to invest in that. And so people would tell me, I like your hijab. And I thought of it, okay. So what I did was I would go to some boutiques, some Islamic boutiques, and tell them, okay, I present this program. If you give me hijabs, I would sell your boutique on the program. And so I had people, Iman Modest Wear. There's a sister style studio. So many, like 3 of them were giving me clothes to wear. Some of them in a quarter there are 13 weeks. So some of them will give me 13 clothes and take 5 back. And like that. And so after some time, I started having the idea of starting my own, boutique. Like, okay, I can put these things together. I can put these things together. But because I already had it in mind that when I have my first money, it is Hajj I want to go for. So I was caught in between. Which one should I do? Should I start this also? But Alhamdulillah, so like a year before I left the NT, I started Mubaimina, and that's how it came about. So like I said, on the job, somehow the interest will just come up, and some things you pick up, and some you have it in you, they come up while you're doing the job. That's why you must like what you do, or do what you like.
What you like, mashallah, mashallah, tabarakallah. And that's quite impressive. To me, I think you actually went into NTA with the end in mind. If you know what I mean, like
everything.
When you
that's how
were
we should do things.
Yeah, but most of us don't do things that way.
That's how we should. Everything.
Roll with things. We usually don't do things that way. And I think that maybe it's a wrong application of when I get to that bridge, I'll cross it. I think this time around, I think it's a wrong application of that saying.
It's a wrong application. You got it. It's a wrong application. When I get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Means that I know where I'm going, and I know I'm going to face stumbling blocks. But when I get to that place, I would know how to cross it. Not like I don't know where I am going. Like I'm going to the US. I know that I have to go to Murtala Mohammed International Airport, or go to Abuja and then take a plane that's going to New York. It's not like, okay, because Emirates is taking me through Dubai and I get to Dubai, I say, oh, Dubai is so beautiful. Maybe this is the US that I'm going. You get lost. Exactly. If you do not know, if you do not know where you're going, anywhere would take you there. Now, where is your there?
Yeah, exactly,
Mm.
exactly. No, mashallah. And that's another lesson. I hope I'm not the only person grasping this. I told you, she's got stuff. She's dishing it to us for free. We're not taking notes. Mashallah, mashallah. So, okay, alhamdulillah. Now the business.
Alhamdulillah.
I know that presently you're not in Nigeria. So, how do you do
Mm.
this? Did you move the business online? Is it still operational? Did you shut it down?
Okay.
What did you do about the business?
Okay. All right. You see, that's what I said about knowing what you want. You see, when I started the business, I
Yeah.
started it with the intention to be in Nigeria and run it.
Mm, mm,
So I actually set the strategy, and I employed graduates and I paid them like graduates. So when it came up that I was going to relocate, I told the three people that were working with me, because I don't like saying for me,
for
because
me.
their ideas too mattered. Yeah. So I said, okay, would you run this when I am away, or how do you want us to go? Because I didn't want to, they told me, Ama, it's too big.
Mm.
We can't do it
Oh,
on our own and all of that. If you can help me get a job with the state government. And I'm like, do these people have dreams at all?
wow,
So with the
wow.
way you see me run my business, and so I said,
Mm,
really? So you prefer to work with the state government that starts with maybe
what a shame.
21,000? Well, I am paying you over 30,000 there. So,
What a
and
shame.
all of those things put together, and,
What a shame.
and
What a
apart
shame.
from that, whenever I travel to get things, because the stuff that I have in my store, I got them from Turkey, Dubai, and then the US. So whenever I return, I let them take whatever they want. I treat them like so. Human resource is a very big
Mm,
problem when you're running a business. You
mm,
train people, and when they get the training, they may come up and say, ah, they want to go or something. I had that issue a lot, you know.
mm,
But
mm.
and again, because of the kind of person I am, you have to do it well. A lot of people
I
are not
know.
straightforward. A lot of people don't want to do things well. If I tell you, okay, every month you have to give me how your balance sheet happens, people don't want the finance part of the business. But it doesn't work like that.
Exactly. It
On a
doesn't.
daily basis, I want to see your
Mm,
finances. I want to. So if you want people that would work with you, you have to get such people, and they're very few. I won't lie to you. People just want to earn salary and just go.
mm.
Anyway,
All right.
when I was relocating, I got the impression that okay, you can run it.
Mm,
I sold the bricks, the fittings, and all of that, and I
sure.
turned my business to an online e-commerce business. And
Mm,
it hurt me because when I was starting it, I thought it was something that I was going to, but again, for me, it's a lesson. Everything we do in life is a lesson. Something led to taking that decision, and I had to do what I had to do. And so the business is still there, it's still running, but I'm thinking of something, and I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide me on
I
how
mean,
to, do it properly, inshallah.
inshallah. I mean. Um, what you said about, before you even said it ought you, I mean, what a shame. Honestly, I'm telling you, what a shame. That mentality of you got after you've left school, you get your certificate, go out there, go job hunting, search for employment. It's a serious problem we've got in our country. It's a huge problem. The reason we
Do
have
you
the
know the trend now? The trend now is when they graduate, they now go to one mommy Darasimi that's a tailor that did not go to school and start learning tailoring. I'm not saying don't learn a skill, but what I find that trend is annoying. I know they will say, okay, it's because of the situation of the country. But see, I say something now. If graduates have gone to one mommy Darasimi to learn tailoring, now that graduate should be able to set up a standard tailoring fair where graduates can come to learn from her. But
absolutely.
no, another graduate will still go back to that mommy Darasimi, and they keep going back. And the woman that makes bed sheets and all of those stuffs for me in Nigeria was telling me,
Hmm.
graduates, they pay 180,000 to learn from me.
Oh my
Yeah, she
goodness.
said
Can you believe that?
after she said her daughter is not going to go to the university
Shame.
because she can't afford to pay so much for her daughter to go to the university and then come back to learn, that she would rather have her daughter set up the standard one, which makes sense. So that's the problem. We don't have that continuity. We don't know how to. And then even if you learn that tailoring, that
Mm.
you have studied economics, and because you've not gotten a job, you had to learn
Yes.
tailoring. you can put economics into your business and make it
Absolutely.
different from every other person's. But the problem is they forget the economics outrightly. They forget what they have studied. You
Absolutely.
get it? So that's
Absolutely. I
the
get
problem we have,
It's a serious problem because, like I said
It's sad.
initially, because
Mm-hmm.
going to school, being educated, it's a leverage. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
this woman is
It's
bragging.
just a leverage. Mm-hmm.
She's paying graduates. Graduates are paying her.
They're paying her to learn,
Yeah, for
to
the
learn
service.
from her.
Can you believe that? On the contrary, it should be the graduates with one that has the insight, and use the advantage of that level of education you've acquired.
And
To
they learn the stuff and then don't put what they have gone to study in the university
it's such
into it. That's
a
the
shame.
problem.
It's such a shame
You
because
don't want to be an economics graduate and say,
mm,
okay, because you have not
mm,
gotten a job, you go to learn tailoring. Now put that economics into the tailoring business and set up a good.
absolutely.
It's not money. I
Mm,
say it is money is not the first thing. It's not money
is
that
it?
is the
Is it?
limiting factor. It's
Mm,
the
mm.
idea that is the
Idea
limiting
is the
factor.
idea. Absolutely. Concord.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm in sync 100%. It's the idea. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and I said the same thing. I said that the idea of these younger generations who think that getting money is what they need to establish a business or something is wrong. It's a very wrong
It is.
mentality. You first of all
Mm-hmm.
have to have the idea before you take it further. And
Yep.
I believe that, if you can get that right, the level of unemployment that we have in the country, the level of poverty, even, we wouldn't have to do
Unemployment applies to paid job, right?
job
Unemployment is
there.
just is it's just a part of the problem. That's for
Because we
paid
need
job, right? That's if you want
entrepreneurs.
to.
Yeah, we need entrepreneurs, if they're thinking outside, get rid of
Everybody can't be entrepreneurs, we know, but how are you making use of what you have learned?
what
I
you've
have
learned.
interviewed a first class graduate before, and I said, okay, what do you want to do? Like, if I employ you now as my manager, how would you apply what you have studied in space? He was
Mm,
just looking at me, he couldn't express himself. So after some time, I said, okay, why do you want to work in my office? He said, because
mm,
I just want to work. I just want to work. And I'm like, you just want to work. I don't
mm.
understand
No
what.
vision. There is
So
no
tell me,
vision.
who would employ that kind of a person? I would rather employ a third class who can express himself,
That's true.
you know?
That's true. Very true. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to move completely away from a lighter discourse to something I know it's personal, but I know that
Okay.
yeah, we're going to learn a huge lesson from this. Can you please tell me
Okay.
about your marriage? When when did you get married? What was the mood like? What was in your mind? Did
Okay.
you look forward to marriage? Did you have
Mm.
dreams like every young girls then? So take us on
Mm-hmm.
that journey.
Yeah. Okay. Um, this is a part of my life that I see as a very, very strategic one when it comes to obeying the words of Allah, that He is the best of planners. You know,
Indeed.
I grew up with the mindset, of course, every girl has a dream. And then my mother told me one important lesson that every woman will tell their daughters, that marry as a virgin and you automatically will have a good marriage. That's what my mother told me. She said,
Mm,
if you keep yourself and marry as a virgin, you automatically will have a good marriage. And so that
mm,
mindset was what was making me. I didn't have a boyfriend in the university. I didn't do all the socials, and
mm,
towards end of my third year, I met this brother, very
mm.
quiet. I was on a bit of the talkative side, and so he was a bit quiet, and so I saw us as and so we started. But I told him from the first day, I'm not going to have anything to do with you until my wedding. And then he said, okay, alhamdulillah, no problem. And he's a Muslim, very quiet young man. So
Mashallah.
we started from then on. I graduated, we're still together. I went for service and all of that. We did all of that. I think we were there like that. We did all of that we could do for 7 years. And so
Okay.
after 7 years, and I working for like 4 years, he
Mm,
hadn't started work. And that's one thing I think we should tell our daughters too, whether we like it or not.
mm,
Girls
mm.
mature faster than
True.
boys.
Very true.
It is not something you can do anything about. That's the way we are wired. If you take a
Exactly.
21-year-old lady and a 21-year-old man now, today, the 21-year-old lady will be smarter, will know what she wants more.
Yes.
The man is still,
Right.
still trying to catch the grapes.
I know, exactly.
I read this, a recent study said that they mature when they are 40. Men, like that's when you can say this is
You
a
can
full man. Yeah. So, but women,
say,
we know. You ask an 18-year-old now, she will tell you, me, I want to do this. She will tell you all the things that she has, and I see it even
true.
in our children. Okay, so at that time, I already started working. He hadn't gotten a job, and so because he desperately wanted us to get married, we're like, okay, let's put resources together. It doesn't matter, we can do this thing, we can do it together. And it is from a very big family in Lagos. I was
Okay.
married to the Oshodi. I was Mrs. Oshodi.
Oh,
So
really? Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
so I so at the time we were going to get married, I was already working with the NTA. So I did, I thought it was Islam. So we're here to learn too. I put all the savings I've had, I put it together, and we did all that we wanted to do. It was not the typical Oshodi kind of marriage, because
Okay.
I told them I didn't want so many things. I wanted a mosque wedding. They wanted an eco club wedding, all of those kind of things.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
it was like breaking some of the rules, but
It's because of the social
we thought, okay,
status.
but there's a part, because I work with NTA, my wedding was transmitted live on TV, like as we were having the
Wow.
wedding was,
Wow.
so
Mashallah,
it was
mashallah.
a kind of, all of those things happened. But one thing I learned is, he told me, he said, why don't you just let us have a small wedding? I said, no, with the kind of, no, we have to have. So we had
A
the kind
big
of
one.
wedding that we had. And, we started. But one thing would always come into play. Allah's will always be done in our lives. This is a very good man, young man, but whether we like it or not, I said it the other time, that because men don't mature as fast as women, you have dreams. And because I had started working, I think I was too fast for him. Like, I wanted to achieve so many things. I was doing this, doing that. If a man doesn't know what he doesn't have that kind of dream, and you are having, you become too ambitious to him. It will become like you're too ambitious, and so that
Exactly. I guess
affected.
what you're saying.
Yes, that
Because you have
yes,
always
it
been
will
the
become like
driven
you're too.
type. You've
Yes,
always
I
been the
was
driven type, very
self-driven.
focused,
Exactly.
very, very self.
Yeah, and again, I lost my mom before I got married, so there was no guidance on that part. He didn't have a mom too, and so we were both like learning from each other. So it affected the marriage a lot, because I didn't want to. I didn't buy some of those things. Like, why would you just sit down and not do? You gotta get up and do things, man. But he was like the type that, so I found that I was doing most of the things in the marriage, and I didn't want to take that. And so I also have a belief that whatever would work, Allah would just send someone to you that would tell you what to do at the right time, or you would read a book, or something would happen. So after 5 years, of course, in my office, they used to tell me then that, how much did this man pay? Because it was either I was pregnant this year and then breastfeeding next year. In 5 years, I had 4 children, but the first was stillbirth. The first child was a stillbirth. Yeah. So I had 3 children in 5 years. So after 5 years, so after 5 years, the marriage we couldn't hold to it anymore. I am an advocate of it. If it's not working for me, if it's beginning to affect my iman, because at that time I felt the only thing that I had not done well, from my perspective, because if they ask him to heal, so I said the only thing that I've not done in this marriage is to do zina. So I'm not going to be pushed into that. So and then it became, when a man cannot do what he's supposed to do, it is not his fault. He would break. Some people don't know how to exhibit this. They will exhibit in different ways. You understand?
True.
So the ways in which he was exhibiting it, I didn't want it. I didn't want to have that. And so I left. And so I didn't just want to leave. I went to the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and I told them, I'm about to take this decision, and I'm an orphan. and I don't know what to do about it. And so they called him, we did all of the things. It took 2 years, but I eventually was out of the marriage because I wanted my sanity. Not because I wanted to spite him, but one thing was, the condition was I'd have my children, you know. So I left. And we are still friends. Because I still tell him, yeah, we're still friends. You know, when we first separated, I told him, I'm not going to talk to you. I was angry, I was hurt, I was bitter, and all of that. So
Fresh ones.
it affected me so much. In fact, I told NTA to transfer me to Ibadan because Lagos became too stressful for me. I had 2 nannies because I left the marriage with babies. The 3 of them were babies, so. So it was stressful for me. Even from the first day, when I have my children, I bathed them myself. That was when my mom died, somebody told me, Ojo Ekon Otito. So when I started having my babies, I understood what the person meant. I'll read a book and be like, wash baby's face, wash baby's face, wash baby's head. That's the way I did it, And so because he didn't have a mother too, it was obvious, the vacuum was there, So when the marriage packed up, I told NTA to transfer me to NTA Ibadan, and so I started my journey. So alhamdulillah, after 7 years, I think he came and begged. He has realized his mistakes. I said, okay, alhamdulillah, but we can't marry each other again. It's okay, but we can be friends. And so I told myself, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it easy for me to take care of the 3 kids, why fight him? Why quarrel? Because I'll have my faults too. I couldn't take some shit. Some people would take it, So I just wanted my own sanity. I just wanted my mental health to be stable, was why I did that. Of course, it would affect some of the plans you have for life, but
Definitely.
A leaf never falls off its tree without Allah's consent. He has a reason for everything that happens to us, So I told him, I said, see, we don't have to fight because we have 3 kids. So we should be friends. In fact, he would tease me, when would you remarry? And I'll be like, when would you remarry to? We were friends. I realized that, okay, he's not doing the part, he's not doing all those things shouldn't cause a quarrel. You know why? If Allah sustains you, it is not by your power. It is Allah that's making it easy. So that he's not making it easy for the other party to do does not make you better than that person. It's just grace you enjoy differently. Okay. So I still, so he's still my friend, and I'm still hoping that I find inshallah somebody who is Muslim enough, somebody who has a big heart that can take it. That's another story. I have an experience with that one.
I was actually going to come to that as well.
Yeah. A lot of our sisters need to work. Yes, we need to understand ourselves. A sister once told me, so Salma, how you coping? And I said, with what? She said, well, how you coping? I said, maybe I'm waiting for you to ask me to marry your husband. She said, no, Sister Salma, no, Allah will provide you. She likes me, but she doesn't want me to marry her husband.
She doesn't want to share. She doesn't want to share.
So, alhamdulillah, but I have my peace. I'm happy, and I believe very strongly that nothing happens without Allah's consent.
Indeed, very true. Very true.
Again, when we are training our daughters, let us tell them, yes, despite the fact that my mom said marry as a virgin, and I did. I married as a virgin. But Allah still said, no, I am the best of planners. It is not that way. It doesn't happen that way. A minimum token, share that, because I am telling you, my sister, if my marriage hadn't broken up, if I saw a marriage, if I saw a sister who's married, I'm sure I'll think she must have been wayward. I'm sure she was wayward as a young girl. That's why I married for. Allah wanted to teach me that that's not the yardstick that He uses. So now I know better. Now I don't judge. Now I have learned. And so when I see anyone, because I had friends who were wayward. Today they have good marriages. you know. So it is not, that's not the way Allah arranges it. His ways are different, you know. So we just need to pray and ask his forgiveness every time.
Mashallah, mashallah. Wow. Wow, that was quite heavy. I must tell you, that was quite heavy. And you know what? I totally agree with everything you have said. Now, I was going to ask what role your parents played in your marriage, you know, and unfortunately, your mother had already passed,
You were not there. Both
and
of them.
both of them, you know, and sometimes we tend to think that immediately they tell you that you should do something right and you do it, everything will just go according to plan. Like you have this script, you know, like you've already written from A to Z, this is how I'm going to do it, this is what I'm going to do. When I'm 33, I want to have my first child. By the time I'm 35, I'm done having kids. And Allah wills otherwise. And there's nothing.
My mom said it one time. My mom would say it. I was like her angel. I was like her pride. She said it one day to someone when I was in my 4th year in the university. Said, by the time Salmah graduates, anybody that tries, because I studied English, anybody that tries rubbish with me is going to have her. So guess she's going to deal with the person. And anybody that deals with that, in fact, she specifically said it one time that if a man tries rubbish with my daughter, I'm going to make sure I jail the person. The person is going to, in fact, you know, because she said that so much, I had this confidence that my mother is there. Who will try rubbish with me?
She's got your back.
But Allah wanted to show me that I'm going to show you. Allah is the best of planners.
He is. You know, that brings me to, I was going to talk about your book, you know, Fortified, which I know that you wrote when you you launched on your 40th birthday, and you know, I've read a sizable amount of his, and I couldn't help but imagine the kind of love that you got from your mother. Subhanallah. The affection was, you know, it's enviable. I'm telling you, not many.
We were like sisters. She was just 19 years older than me, so we were like sisters.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is in grace. Do you know why I want to bring that up? I want to say, and I would like to throw it back at you and tell me if I'm wrong, that the love that you received, the affection and attention, the support that you got from your mother made you the confident woman that you are today. It's maybe not 100%, but it's played a huge role in the woman you are today. Right?
Yeah, definitely. My mother is the first person that taught me how to catwalk. She'll tell you, no, a lady shouldn't walk that way. You walk like this, you walk like this, and she will smack. Yes, and she will smack you if you don't do it well. She's the first person. She taught me things like, if you have money and you buy eggs to eat, that means you're a thief. If you buy gum to chew, you're a thief. You know, she made those things in my mind so that even till now, I don't buy. When I want to eat eggs, it's like if I'm taking more than one, it's like, you're a thief. You know, you know, my mom will go tell anybody if someone maybe does anything wrong to her, she will be like, Salmah, you know someone that our neighbor, she said something to me, and I'll say, she did. And then she bought me a dictionary. I'll learn a new word, and I'll go to the neighbor. Did you by chance say this to my mom? And she'll say, you will see the look on her face as if, yes, that's my daughter talking, you know. And then she'll go that. So me too, I'll give the person one big gram, and my mom will be like, yes, I told you my daughter is coming to deal with you. You know, so sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, okay, if mom was here now, what would have happened? I'm sure. Don't let us think about it. Don't let me even go there. You know. So she was just that kind of drama queen who used her drama to shape my life in the best way she could. You know, I took myself to the madrasa at 16. That I had a friend then that had memorized the entire Quran, and I didn't know anything. So I started learning when I was 16. And so at 21, when I wanted to have my Walimat Quran, my mom said, my daughter has done Walimat Quran, and she's going to save all of us in our family because now she knows how to read the Quran. Because they say anybody like that. I said, where did you get that from? You know?
Subhanallah.
So that's
Wow.
it. She was a
Such a
very
pleasant,
proud mom.
lively, and
Yeah.
a warm mother. From what I've read in your book and from what you've described, she was such a loving mother. May Allah grant her
Mm-hmm.
Jannat Firdaus. Same for your mother as well, and
Allahumma
your dad as
amin.
well. May Allah grant them both at Jannat
Allahumma
Firdaus.
amin. 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 And
Um,
all Muslims.
Amin, ya Allah. And I was going to ask that during the period that you were grieving, you're grieving about your parents. I know they didn't die at the same time. They died at different times, but within short frame of time, isn't it? So now, I mean,
Correct.
that period and you getting married, and then after your marriage ended, what that space? How did you manage that space? Did you have to consult with specialists? Did you do it on your own? Was it just spirituality, or did you get any medical
Okay.
help? How did you deal with
Okay.
the
That
trauma?
period of my life, I told you that for anything that as we're raising kids, let's raise them to know that we we love them, but we're not always going to be there, you know. Kind of. There's a way you can raise a child to let the child know that you have to be responsible. We should raise responsible, kind children. My mother used to buy me books. So I started my life early reading. So I was already charged, kind of. So when she died, of course, it affected me so much. I thought my life was going to end and all of that. But I took the giant stride and I told myself, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make her proud wherever she is. Because it was as if I finished service and I did my passing out and then she died. It was as if I just came to this world because of you. Now you have graduated, I have to go. So I saw it like, okay, she gave me a mantle, like a mantle of leadership, and I had to do what I had to
Being
do.
the first
And
child,
so one of
being
the,
the first
yeah,
child, isn't it? Being the
yes,
first
I'm the
child.
first. I'm the first. I had two younger sisters. So
Child.
I have two younger sisters. I said had. And then, one of the reasons I married the man I married was because he met her before she died.
Oh, true.
So in my mind, it was like my mom approved of him, and so I'm going to do him. So that even before we
Mm,
got married, I told you I already started working. I was already like a big girl, like he was still searching for a job. So there were people asking to marry me, but because I love my mother, I said, no, mommy approved of this person before she died. That
mm,
was the
mm.
naivety,
I
kind of.
get you.
But
I get
Allah had to put something. You had to, there's something,
exactly,
you must just make a mistake for Allah's plan to,
exactly,
you must just do something for Allah's plan to.
exactly.
So that was the reason
To
I
come
married him,
to pass.
because of the love I had for my mother. Like
Sure.
he met her and he knows how much she loved me. So he won't
Mm,
maltreat me, kind of.
oh, get you. Get you.
All
I
right.
get
So
you.
so when that thing happened, the marriage crashed, everything. I saw everything coming like boom, boom, boom. But one thing was, I was always assured of Allah's guidance and rahmah, like He would never
Allah.
forsake me. I knew that Allah. I know that it was just like on the journey. Allah did not
Mm,
promise us a smooth journey. He promised a safe landing if we obey Him, if we do what we are supposed to do,
indeed.
if you play your
Indeed.
part. So one thing that was always sure was I did my part. When the marriage crashed,
Mm,
I said, Allah, I was a good girl. So if my
mm,
marriage crashed, that means there's something you want me to learn. So I saw it more like Allah wanted me to learn, not that He was wicked to me. You know, I
indeed.
just saw it like,
Indeed.
so when it crashed, what I just did is, okay, what am I going to do now? What's the next? I have three little children. What am I going to do? And I had my job. And so I just put my life together. And that one of the decisions I took was, okay, Lagos became too expensive with three children. So I moved to a less expensive place. It was like Ijra for me
Mm,
at that time.
mm,
The
mm,
second,
mm.
yes, I read the story of the prophet and I saw that, okay, things became
Salah.
difficult. Why don't you just move? So at that time, I wanted to leave NTA, but a boss of mine told me, why? Why leave NTA? Why don't you just move to either NTA
Exactly.
Belkuta or NTA Ibadan? And so I was the one
Just
who
get
asked for the
transferred rather than
transfer.
leaving.
Since
Mm,
NTA,
mm.
so I just moved to NTA Ibadan. Alhamdulillah, somebody
Alhamdulillah.
looked at me and said, I'm supposed to be a Ibadan Gbemi. You know what? So that,
Alhamdulillah.
that captured
Yeah, yeah,
everything for
yeah.
me. That captured everything. Like I took a good decision.
Mm,
Like
mm,
it wasn't a bad one. I went for hard. I
mm.
traveled to so many countries. So
Oh,
alhamdulillah for his
mashallah.
mercies. And so sometimes when I look back at it, I say these things have to happen for some things to happen. So
Mm,
why fight?
absolutely.
Why
Mm,
quarrel with him? Why, so
mm,
why not,
mm.
just take it like,
Exactly.
so at that time I was
Mm,
okay I was enough for myself.
mm, mm.
So
True.
because of the books I had read, because of the love I got from my mother, it was still sustaining me. And then I could still give to my children. I could still give to other people, so that at that time, if I didn't tell you I was a single parent, you wouldn't know,
You know.
because I
Allah Akbar.
exuded life. I gave, I did sadaqah, I did a lot of things. I don't believe in having too much. I don't compete.
Allah,
I do my
Allah.
own thing at my own pace.
Mashallah.
So it was easy for me to, pass through that phase. And I'm still passing through the phase, because it's not easy taking care of a
I
boy
can
and two
imagine
girls alone.
single parents of 3 children,
Mhm.
and may Allah continue to strengthen you. May Allah continue
Amen,
to
amen.
uphold you. May Allah continue to sustain you.
Allahumma amen.
You are indeed an inspiration. You're a strong woman and
Alhamdulillah.
someone I have great admiration for. And what brought
Thanks.
about the relocation? What made you decide to relocate? Was these
The
experiences? Was it part of it? Was it the main reason, or was
mm,
it all? Had it always
no,
been in the pipeline at some point? And I
no.
also want to ask.
Mm.
So, Alhamdulillah, eventually you made the edge, because I was going to
I
ask that
did.
eventually.
I
Mashallah,
did. And you
mashallah,
know what? You know the beauty of it?
mashallah.
It was all paid for by someone.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu
As
Akbar.
in, I told you I started Islam is Beautiful. And so I was
Mm,
just doing my thing. I was just doing my program the best way I could. I made sure I put beauty in the program to exude the name of that program. And one of the reasons I picked that name, Islam is Beautiful, is because in our control room in NTA, where we work, where we put in the new program and all of that, I
okay.
wanted, when they say, what's the next program? They say, Islam is Beautiful. I want
MashaAllah.
people to say, because at that time there was so much of Islamophobia. And
Mm,
then I looked at it, apart from dressing Islamically, looking beautiful, let us also show other people that this thing can work. In
exactly.
NCA Ibadan, then if you go there and you ask, they will tell you, during Ramadan, I would leave my kids at home and do the Ramadan program all night. When I
Wow.
say all night, I'll take food. I'll take food for those that would fast, maybe two, but there are like 20 people on the crew. I'll make food for everybody. And so they saw it like
Mm.
Aja will bring food. So they all wanted to be on the show. I
Oh,
made it like that so that they won't say, oh, she during Ramadan, because she's the
exactly.
boss. During Ramadan, because she's the boss, she will
Mm,
now make us work unnecessarily. So to
oh,
remove that
mashallah.
part, so they enjoyed so we'll do
They'll
it.
be looking forward
I just
to
want
it.
to.
They'll
So
be looking forward to
alhamdulillah for his
it
mercy.
every day.
So it
Alhamdulillah.
was
Alhamdulillah.
so I made the
Mashallah.
Hajj. I made Hajj, alhamdulillah, all expense paid.
Alhamdulillah.
And it was a beautiful experience, and I hope that I go again and again. And I pray for everybody who has not gone, that Allah
I
makes
mean,
it, because when Allah is ready to make things easy, it will just come. It will just
exactly.
happen. But just make
Exactly.
sure that the purpose for which you were created, you are exuding it. I
Mm,
use the manual of anything that we're buying as example. Now you
mm,
got a phone.
mm.
In the phone came a manual, right? A lot of us
That's
just throw the manual away and we start using that phone.
true. Mm,
Now, if we do that, there is no how you can optimize that phone, like use it to the maximum, the way the manufacturer made it, you won't. So we are like
exactly.
that in the sight of,
That's
yeah,
true.
we are like that in the sight of Allah. Allah has finished producing, like that phone that you bought. They tell you on
Mm,
the manual, this phone can make calls. How did they know? Because somebody has tested it and has made sure
mm,
that it makes calls. They will tell you
true.
this phone can keep your messages
Mm,
because somebody has put a message in it and he has seen that the message can stay in it. They will tell you
mm,
this phone can take voice calls. How did they know? Because somebody has tested it. So ultimately,
true.
that your phone is actually not new. Somebody has actually tested it. All those people who make phones, they have people that they have employed to test the
Electronics.
phone, the product before they sell it. So
Very
now
true.
imagine that Allah who has created you, he says,
Mm.
go to the world. Now, he has tested you. He knows that you can do it. He knows that anything that you're going to face,
Mm.
you will be able to stand it.
Allah.
That's why he created you. What you just need is just to read the manual, which is the Quran.
Quran. Mashallah. Mashallah.
Yes, but a
Mashallah.
lot of us, we just think that these things just happen from nothing happens without Allah's consent. He knew that I was going to marry as a virgin. He knew that I was going to marry a Shadi family. He knew that I was going to have 3 kids. You know, when I got married and I got pregnant immediately, and the next year,
Mashallah.
January of the next, this January of the next year, I had my baby. I had the first baby, and it was stillbirth. And you know what I said? You know, when I didn't cry. I said
Mm.
to the nurses and the doctors, discharge me. And when I got home and after I started praying, you know what I did? I
Mm.
told Allah, this is January and I want to have another baby this year. And it's a boy, I want to have a boy. Because
Mm.
it is not, I know that a leaf never falls off its tree without your consent. And that's why I'm asking, because I know how this would affect me if I do not have baby this year. And he answered me, once you can do your part, Allah will do his part.
Allah.
You know. But the problem is we like to cut corners. We like to like adjust the script. We like to, you hear people, you know, when that thing happened to me, a lot of my friends, parents, moms especially, oh, possible, I don't have an affair. I don't have ustaz. I don't have those things. Not because I think I know, but because I feel that this person is human. Why would I talk to human beings when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me what to do? He didn't promise a smooth journey.
Yeah, you
Yes, he
have it
didn't
direct.
promise it. He
You have
said,
it
yes,
direct.
he says you will face trials. He
Mm.
says you will face, you won't just come and call yourself a Muslim and without facing trials. You will.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
we
saw
got.
all of those as trials, and that's how I was able to pull through, and I'm still pulling through because it's not easy.
I know. I can only imagine. Mashallah, Alhamdulillah. And I hope that
Alhamdulillah.
anybody who is watching has there are many lessons to learn, from upbringing, training the child properly, especially the female child, and also that the
Even the
Yorubas
male
will say,
child. Mm.
yeah, even the male child, the Yorubas will say, Ori fifo, Ori bibe kolo ori fifo. You don't throw the baby away with the
Benny.
bath. Like some of the
With bad
things
water.
that resilience could have done that you couldn't take. But in the end, I know we agree that this is Allah's will. It has happened that. But at the same time, we can't help but take away the lessons that
Yep.
the value that both your parents, mother figure, the guidance they could have given at that point in time was missing. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah that in
Alhamdulillah.
the end you're still able to stand and you
Alhamdulillah.
were forthright, you have your children with you, you are looking after them. Alhamdulillah. Not many people would have been able to go through such trauma and still
I
remain
see that.
standing. Alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah for the
Alhamdulillah. A lot
blessing.
of people would have, they would have crashed along the way
Mm.
because that
Yep.
was just too many traumas happening almost
Mm-hmm.
at very short intervals. And
Of course, the way that I think it affected me was the fact that I blanked out of social life. Yes,
okay.
because I do TV presentation. People
Oh,
think, okay, I'll be like that. My social life is zero. I see every man as, so it's still there. There's no how you can remove yourself.
absolutely.
Everything that happens to us they all have an effect, but how we react to them
Mm.
differently. For
Yes.
now, if I'm interviewing a prospective spouse, you would think the person wants to take a job interview in Microsoft. And I'm asking myself,
Okay,
what is the problem? Why am I stressing this poor man?
because my sister doesn't want
So
to make the
it's
same mistake
it's
again.
no. It's apart from making the same mistake again. That's where we miss it all. If Allah has said that you will make it again, you will.
Yeah,
So
you
you
make it
can
again.
only beg
Yeah,
him.
I know.
You can only
Humans,
beg him.
our brain kind of tries to protect us, but Allah knows best. Sometimes we think that being
He
smart,
knows best.
doing the right things because we know what we're doing
It has
is
got
right.
nothing to do with being smart.
Exactly.
There are
So
many
that's
stupid people. There are so many people who are not smart at all that
exactly,
have their marriages and their partners understand that they're not smart and they're still there. So being
exactly. So
smart can even be a problem.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yoruba people will say, "Ọgbọ́n àgbọ̀njù." Oh man, it's true because
Ah,
sometimes when we claim that we know so much, there are certain things that you should let go, but you're not letting go
mm-hmm,
because you believe that it should be done differently because you know better.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in the end, I think it's a last rama. It's a
It's
last
about
rama.
learning. It's about learning,
You know,
learning from anything. If you goof, learn from it. If you do it
in
well, learn from it.
your case, a last rama for
Okay,
you to be able
okay.
to
Last drama.
to
Yes,
go
yes, yes.
through,
Last
yeah,
drama.
to go through the
Alhamdulillah.
exercise.
Mm-hmm,
Because these days,
mm-hmm.
they tell us that when we are having emotional, psychological issues, that we should try to speak to somebody we trust, and if things are not getting resolved, it is because to a certain level, we understand Islam, alhamdulillah, that we know that we can't
Alhamdulillah.
eliminate the spiritual aspect of this, which is the reason why we pray. Because you may even consult a therapist. They may give you medications or tell you to follow a routine. It might not work at the end of the day.
Therapist.
You know,
Mm,
exactly. Alhamdulillah.
mm.
Alhamdulillah
Alhamdulillah
for
Rabbil Alameen.
that you are still here. No,
For
we are still
grace.
here. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
mashallah for his grace. The way you are thriving, we see you, you are thriving. You are doing something that is remarkable, and alhamdulillah, I
Alhamdulillah.
pray that Allah continue to sustain you, uphold you, bless your children, bless your efforts,
Ameen.
and yeah, so before we
Ameen.
finish this session, I know you're an avid reader. I'm not even going to start telling you to list it. No, no. Me, I'm not even going to I cannot say I'm competing with. I know you're an avid reader. As in, forget, I know this shelf is not even representing the books you do. This one behind you.
Books everywhere.
I can only imagine. I know.
Mm.
So, aside from reading, what other things do you enjoy doing to just cool off and just to relax? What do you do? What else do you
Okay.
like to do? Are you a foodie?
Okay.
Are you a foodie? By the way, are you a foodie?
I like food, but I don't like cooking. Like when I see
So
I
how do you
like
manage? How do you
I
balance?
I cook. I don't have a choice because I have kids and I don't want to raise them. No, no. So I
Mm,
cook, but it's not something I enjoy doing. It's one of the things that I do not because I feel that it's time wasting. But I have to. In fact, I do it. I do it almost 3 times a day because I have children. If I had my way, I won't, but I do it. So
mm,
I like food. I like good food. I like dancing. I like dancing a lot. Like
oh,
I believe in flexibility because I
mashallah.
think it helps my brain. Before we came on, you were asking me. I do
That's
10,000 steps a day. I walk
good.
and I monitor it. It's like a target for me on a daily basis. If I have not reached, if it's 9,900 and something, I walk on the staircase till it's 10,000 before I go to bed. So I try to do that. I try to do that. Then, I was at a training some time ago, and I said, okay, let's have a break. And so I told the
Mm,
ladies, it was an all-woman training, all women
okay.
training. And so I said, let's flex a little. And I saw that a lot of women are stiff. So I'm working
Mm,
towards starting something for women to teach them flexibility. It's in the pipeline.
mashallah.
So
Mashallah.
inshallah, I'm
Thank
working.
you.
So if I am not reading, I'm not a TV person. But if you come up and say, Salma, go watch this movie, it's going to be very, you will enjoy it. I would rather watch that one than
Interesting.
surfing myself. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
surprised to learn
really,
that. I mean, for a broadcaster, you used to be a presenter and you're not a TV
you
person.
know.
Wow.
So uh, you can imagine. So that's to tell you. So sometimes I ask myself, am I really, really? Do I really like broadcasting? But sometimes in
Mm,
life we just move with the thing. Like when you're moving, as long as you're adding value, as long as you're enjoying it, as long as because at the time I was doing those programs, I liked them. But right now, ah I,
mm.
I I'm
Your
I
interest
don't
has
think I don't
somewhere
think
else.
sometimes I want to help people. You're not a leader if you don't have good followers. So now I'm mentoring
Mm,
people who want to be broadcasters. I don't think just give space to other people to show what they
mm,
have. A lot of people have
mashallah.
plenty things that they are letting die without knowing,
Mm,
and it starts from the home. As parents, what are the things that your children like? I have a daughter that is very flexible. She likes gymnastics. a
Oh,
lot. She's
mashallah.
very French. She can bend into you guys. She can bend herself. She can fold herself. You know, I didn't. She has not even gone for any training at all. So that one can just look at it and say, okay, let us see whether you can actually, So sometimes I think it's from the upbringing. It helps us till we grow, and So may Allah make it easy for us. I like dancing. I like listening to the Quran because it sounds like music in my ears sometimes.
Mashallah.
So
Mashallah.
I listen to if you come to my house, my big screen is always like I'll just look for one reciter that is really one very long. I just enjoy it. It helps me to flow. And then apart from
Mashallah.
that, I don't have a social life still.
I was waiting for you to tell me you do something outside the home. But now that you've listed
I can
everything,
stay.
not
I can
except
stay in
for
my
the one,
house for 1 month. I can stay in my house for 1 month. But I caught the picture of somebody who would like. But I'm not. I can stay in my house for 1 month. Just supply food to the house.
People, if you are watching, I want an eligible person for this. My sister, she's very precious. Please. She's very precious. So please,
You think we'll find?
that.
You think we'll find that? You think we'll find that one here? You think we'll find
I
that
know
one
maybe
here?
not here. I don't know how far this is gonna travel, but I'm putting it out there. And because I know that we can't just do. I mean, to lie. I mean, look at this, my sister now. Alhamdulillah, she's we want all these good she has to keep it to herself. So we want she needs a companion, please. So me, I'm saying it. So she didn't send me. Oh, mashallah, mashallah.
May Allah grant us the best of this world and the best in the hereafter.
I mean, I've had a tree. It's been quite.
I enjoyed myself too.
Yeah, and it's inspirational, fun, informative. I mean, it's all around goodness, and I'm glad that we are able to laugh at the end of it. Because sometimes we think that when people go through traumas, that they're going to be miserable. That's what sometimes because that's usually what we see in society.
A lady came up to me and told me she came to my inbox and told me that she's suffering. She's really suffering. I said, why? She said she's a single mom that she has. I said, how many kids? She said one, that she's been suffering. I said, you suffer for one? I said, I have 3. She just kept quiet. She was asking for, and I said, see, you don't have to beg. You don't have to. I exude a lot of confidence so much that even if you, because I told the sister I said, see, if you keep doing this, it's only cheap people that will come to you. You fall for cheap things.
Exactly.
I jokingly tell brothers that my sadaki is 10 million and the Toyota of 4. And then you ask your wife to come and ask me to come and marry you. When I see young girls, when I see young ladies, no, it's not 10 million naira in cash. It is in wisdom. It's only for deep people. It's only for deep people to understand what I mean by that. So when I see young ladies, young Muslim sisters that are having issues with getting someone to marry, and I'm like, how have you positioned yourself? What are you doing that would bring value to the man? No man wants to marry someone who is not valuable. So what are you doing? Some people just have it in their heads that, okay, let me just find a brother to marry. No, you have to bring something on board. You have to, you can't, to be candid, to be sincere with you, I have suitors. It's just that they're not cutting my specs the way I want. The way I want. For example, someone is Nigeria, I'm in the US, someone is, like that. Someone is in the US is not very practicing like that. So and if it's still not cutting your specs, you have still not reached there. That's what it means.
Exactly. So
I tell people, if as a young lady, let's teach our daughters to know that. Do you understand, my sister? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows why he has created us. He knows what he has created us for.
Indeed.
But we have to be the one to exude it.
I agree. May Allah make it easy.
May Allah make it easy
And
for
let
us.
me just quickly take a few comments here. Yeah. Jazakumullah khairan to everyone. Sister Ajara say, she's been here. She's been here all along. I know she says that Taslim, that she's always been an admirer. Yeah, I'm okay, Muhammad Raji. Well done, mentor. Yeah, assalamu alaikum. I see you. My darling sister Basira already, she came. See my sisters, mashallah. Wow, from two different shores of the world. Yeah, thank goodness to technology. this is this is the real 2 worlds apart interview. Now, may Allah keep you upon high. Alamu Amin. Jazakillah khairan, darling Khutsi. Jazakillah khairan. And so barakallahu fikum. Amina ya Allah. Amina ya Allah. And
thank you, my sister.
Amina ya Allah. Somebody said that Allah is the best planner. Yes, indeed. Yes, Allah, sister Gerard says Allah is indeed the best planner. He's the best. He's the planner of all our affairs. We can only try. We know we are his servants. We are his slaves. We go where he directs us. We can only try and continue to pray for his guidance. May he grant us hidayah. So, and somebody said that she was such a sweet mother. I read some. Yeah, she is indeed a mother. Yeah, that was when we were talking about your mom, and may Allah grant her Jannat Firdaus. So just Jazakumullah khairan to everyone. I've seen your presence. My sister, Secret Taslim. Assalamu alaikum, mashallah. So in your community, yeah, it was. I told you, no, when she came, I told you that we are going to go away with a lot of stuff, So I know that. And please check out her page and check out her services, So I don't even need to tell you. You have seen it firsthand yourself, and you know that. Alhamdulillah. So barakallahu fikum. That's all I can say. So no regrets. There's somebody there. I think maybe sister Alpha Omolade. I think that person is maybe a friend of you. Sister Salmah, a friend of yours. It is indeed an interesting interview. Mashallah. Jazakillah khairan. I thank you wholeheartedly for honoring my invite, for making the time.
To you too. You're doing a good job.
Jazakumullah khairan. We'll get there. As you know, I'm also a learner, so inshallah, I hope to be better at this. I'm learning on the job. You are my teacher.
You're doing a good job. I must say, because whether we like it or not, in psychology, we'll call this kind of program a stress relief. Sometimes you just want to pour out. So if you have a platform like this they're not there seeing me, so let me just say the way I feel it, So you're doing a good job. May Allah reward you, and may it count as a good intercession for you on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Amina ya Allah. Amina ya Allah. Jazakallah khairan. I appreciate that. May Allah bless you. I love you so much for the sake of Allah. Assalamualaikum, sisters. Inshallah, we'll see you again next week.
Walaikum.
Wassalam.
Bye.
Bye.
Be salam.